Well, hello everybody and welcome to Chef's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make a beef pot roast with potatoes, carrots and swede, or you may know swede as rutabaga. It's going to take quite a while because we're going to slow roast the pot roast in the oven for about 4 hours. But it's going to be very, very tasty indeed. I'm trying to do this while there's work going on my roof, but the workmen seem to have taken a quick break, so I can talk now without any banging. Hopefully the noise won't be too distracting further on in the video. So I'll start off by going through the ingredients. And for this I have 2 kilograms, which is 2.2 pounds of top side of beef. Then I have 900 grams, 2 pounds of new potatoes, which I have cut into halves basically. I washed those, then cut them. They're in water at the moment just so they don't start to discolour before I use them. I have 500 grams, 17.5 ounces of carrot, which I've cut into large pieces. And then I have here 700 grams, 24.5 ounces of swede, again cut into rather large pieces. I have 150 grams, which is 5.25 ounces of onion, which I have diced, and 100 grams, 3.5 ounces of celery, again which I've diced into small pieces. I have 20 grams, which is 3/4 ounce of garlic, which I have minced, 1.5 grams, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 30 millilitres of vegetable oil, which is 2 tablespoons, and to go with that 28 grams, 2 tablespoons of butter. That's for frying off the meat and the onions and the celery. I have 240 millilitres, 1 cup of beef stock, and 480 millilitres, 2 cups of vegetable stock. I have 180 millilitres, or slightly more, but 180 millilitres, 3/4 cup of red wine. Then I have some salt and some pepper to season everything as we go along. And here I have 50 grams of butter, which is 3.5 tablespoons, and 50 grams, 1/3 cup, based on scooping packed flour into a 250 millilitre cup of plain flour. And I'm going to mix those together later on to make a beurre marnier, which will thicken our liquid once everything is cooked. And the first thing I'm going to do is to brown my meat. So as I start to brown my meat, I'm going to preheat my oven to 150 degrees Celsius, 300 Fahrenheit, ready to take the pot roast once I've prepared everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of my oil into a large Dutch oven, and I'm going to add in my 2 tablespoons of butter, and I have that on the heat, so I'm just going to get that hot, and with that hot I'm going to put my meat in, and I've patted that meat dry. and I'm going to brown it on all sides. And with the meat brown, I'm going to take that out of the pan and set it to one side while we fry off the onions and the celery. So I'm going to put the onions and the celery in, and I'm just going to fry those off to soften them, and that will take about 5 minutes. And I have this on a moderate heat. I don't have it on a high heat now. And my onions and celery have now started to soften, so I'm going to add in my garlic and my dried thyme. I'm going to stir those around and let that cook for about a minute. And having cooked that for about a minute, I'm going to pour in my red wine. And I'm going to use that to deglaze the pan. And then I'm going to add in my vegetable stock, and my beef stock, and then I'm going to put my meat back in and bring that up to a simmer. And as it comes up to a simmer, I'm going to put some of my salt and my pepper in, and I can add more salt later. I can add more pepper later, but I can add more salt later if I want to. And as you can see, that's now starting to boil, so I'm going to cover that and I'm going to put it into the oven, and I'm going to cook it for 2.5 hours, just at that 150 degrees Celsius, 300 Fahrenheit. And then I'll come back in 2.5 hours and we will add in the potatoes, the carrots and the swede, and we'll cook it again. So it's been 2.5 hours and my meat has been in the oven. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in my carrots and swede and potato. just like that. And I'm going to put the lid back on and put that back into the oven for a further hour and a half. So I've now cooked my beef with the vegetables for another hour and a half, and I've tested the vegetables and they're cooked, and I've tested the beef and that's well cooked. So I'm going to take the vegetables and the beef out of the stock, and I'm going to thicken that stock into a nice sauce. So I have mixed my butter and my flour together like that, and I'm going to whisk that in as much as I need into my sauce. And that will break down in the sauce. And there's my sauce, and that has thickened to my liking. And I have put a little bit more salt in there, so I tasted it and seasoned it. So that's now ready to serve once the meat has rested for about 30 minutes. So I will come back when I've served some for myself and taken the rest round to my niece for her dinner. So the vegetables are all very nicely cooked. Here's the meat and my thickened sauce. So the meat is actually very tender. I can pull it apart really, but I'll cut it. And I'll just have a taste of the meat. That is so good. The meat is lovely and tender. The sauce is really very, very good indeed. And I know the vegetables are cooked to perfection because I've already tasted them. So this is an easy meal to make. Doesn't take too much effort, but it takes quite a long time because we slow cook everything. That's going to be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there'll be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link in the video below. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.